Max Verstappen drinks victory champagne from the top step of the podium in the penultimate race of the season, leaving a fight for P1 in the Constructors' Battle and a fight for P2 in the Drivers' Championship on the table. All eyes on Abu Dhabi. It is the last race of the season and episode 165 of the Eaton Asphalt Podcast. Hey, did you know in Qatar, like nobody knows about Flintstones? Like the people of Qatar have don't know what the Flintstones, but the people in Abu Dhabi do.
God damn. I was ready. I was like, where are you going with this? Love that. Wow. I
Yeah,
needed that.
topical. Nailed it.
Uh,
What a weekend, Marco. What a weekend. I mean, I love sprint races because it's the prospect of having a lot of action and being, there's just like a lot of room for chaos. It sucks when we don't get chaos, but man, did we get a lot of chaos and a lot of talking points this past weekend.
yeah. I mean, like it allows not even chaos, but just like surprises too. Like, I mean, Alpine the last couple of weeks has just who would have guessed, and they probably never would have done that in a typical qualifying. So for them to do well, or the rare chance where they do well in qualifying, like it just adds more wrinkles, more chances for fun. So yeah, I mean, I think FIA and everyone is down with it as they've continued to grow the amount of sprint. Do you think we'll ever what's the max amount of sprints that a season will have? Like there's no way they can do like every race is a sprint. That's crazy.
I do think that is crazy. I think it's a lot to it takes
Yeah.
up your
It's
it
an
does
extra
take
day
up
for
your
them
whole
probably.
weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like being able to watch. I watch highlights of free practice. I don't watch all the free practice, you know what I mean? And I feel like you're more obligated to, but like, yeah, I agree. I think like let's keep it under 500, like less than
Mhm.
50% of the time for sure, and make that the ceiling.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I would like a change where I love the fact that they get like less practice time during quals weekends. I would like for that to happen all the time. Like I don't think they should get three practice rounds. I mean, NASCAR, I'm pretty sure they get 10 minutes of practice before they go into a race. Let's do something like that. We'll be nice. Let's do 30 minutes and that's it. Go into quals after that.
I like in the evolution, we're gonna have this conversation like 10 to 15 years from now, being like sprint qualifying was made to like spice things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Soon it's gonna be like, all right, first session is sprint qualifying.
Yeah, yeah. Just like get out there.
Get out there, see what happens. Yeah.
Rookies that have never driven the course before, they're like, God damn, what is going on?
All right, let's get into this episode. I'm excited for this one. We got a hot lap recap. We got fastest thoughts, winners and losers, a predictions recap, and a gambling recap that I'm excited for. Qatar Grand Preview, or sorry, Abu Dhabi Grand Preview done by Marco, and then the country fun facts, and then just predictions and gambling. We got basically everything that we do, everything that we ever done. We're gonna do this episode. So strap in, everybody. Let's get to it. All right, hot lap recap. It was a sprint weekend, like we said, so sprint qualifying. Only real like big news from here. Perez bumped in SQ1 thanks to Alex Albon. Pierre Gasly up in P8. Awesome performance from him. I mean, in the sprint, Lando did the impossible and held a lead in Formula One for the first time. Sergio forgot to start, got passed by Colapinto in the pit lane, almost having to overtake the safety car that drives behind the driver. So we had a nice little battle between the two future Ferrari teammates and Lewis and Charles. And then at the very end of the race, Lando, good guy, good racer, better human being, just let his teammate get the win for his teammate giving him the win in Brazil. So gentlemanly, probably the right move since it worked out well. We'll talk about if it didn't work out well, what that would have looked like. Next day, same day, I guess, quals. Red Bull shine with a pole position and a P9. Sergio happy to get into Q3 for the first time in what feels like 2 years. Max, George, Lando were at the top of the timetables for qualifying and starting off the race. For the race, George Russell this time went down from P3, even though he started from pole position in the first lap. lends evidence to the claim that leading from pole is kind of silly, a little overrated. Not everybody wants to kind of be leading at the end of lap one, so it doesn't really matter. That first lap was crazy in the race. Hamilton false start. Albon, Stroll, Hulkenberg, all having contact. Colapinto, Ocon retiring after touching. Calmed down a little bit after that, and then lap 30, we had the mirror gate. Haas mirror flies off because of some contact earlier in the race. The mirror brings out a yellow flag. Max slows down. Lando doesn't. Lando gets a penalty. FIA doesn't do anything with the mirror. It just kind of sits there. They're just like, keep driving, everybody. Mirror then gives Lewis a puncture when he ran over it. Carlos Sainz falls to that same fate to get a puncture. Mirror caused a lot of drama. And then we saw some mirrorless drama with Sergio Perez doing a pirouette of his own with a car malfunction to cap off another horrible weekend. So after mirror drama, Verstappen, Leclerc, Piastri podium. Max, like we said, drinks his champagne, already champion. And now the only scores to settle are P2 in the Drivers' Championship between Charles and Lando, and potentially P1 in the Constructors' Championship. But yeah, championship should be wrapped up, barring any major disaster. Marco, let me put you on the spot here. If you had to give me a percentage, 1 out of 100, 0 out of 100, what's the percentage that Ferrari can take McLaren's spot at the top of the Constructors' battle?
Uh, 5.
Okay. All right. I will take that, actually. I will take
I
that.
think it's fair, right?
I
With the
would
current odds
say
being them minus 800, or no, with McLaren being minus 800 to win, I would say, I don't know, back of the napkin, that's probably equates to 5%.
that's probably about right. Yeah. All right, we're gonna let's just bleed into these fastest thoughts because I have some stuff that I want to get off my chest after that race. Mainly, what happened after the race with Ocon getting told that he wasn't going to be racing in Abu Dhabi. Quick thoughts on your side about that. Anything like come to mind? Are you happy with this decision? You mad as I am?
You're mad about this?
I think
At Yeah, yeah.
okay, here's my thing about Ocon. I think it's criminal to drop him for the last race of the season. This
Hmm.
feels like Alpine thought to themselves, like, what would Red Bull do in this scenario? Like, how do we portray that we're ruthless and mean and bad people? This man just got you, first of all, he got you your first win under the Alpine name, right? In Hungary in 2021. Got you P2 in Brazil earlier this year, highest finish of the season. He has 23 points. Without those 23 points, Alpine, instead of being at P6, are in P8. In 2023, the difference between P6 and P8 in the championship was $17 million. So Esteban Ocon's salary being $6 million, you're getting a 3x return on Esteban Ocon right there. Like you're tripling your investment with the guy. He's like Bitcoin. Like doesn't make sense about how like doesn't make sense how you got your return, but don't question it. Just be glad it happened. Give the guy a last race. Like don't, I'm assuming they might have like told him like this was at least in the cards, but the guy has earned a spot on the grid for the last race.
I agree with everything you were saying. This sport is probably like, it's not what you have done for us,
Yeah.
it's what you are going to do for us. And you're not going to do anything for us. We need to get a fresh set. We're going to have this guy get a little taste of what a real race looks like. Final race, testing is one thing, all that stuff, but like get him in an actual Formula One car in an actual race, and let's get the preparation for next year started as soon as you can.
Counterpoint, Sergio Perez.
Uh, Elaborate.
I think what does he still have? Like, if anybody, I think my anger comes from like if Sergio's racing in Abu Dhabi,
Oh, I see. I
he's
see.
racing in Abu Dhabi.
That I think just uh, is probably substantial influx of money that their hands are a little tied on this.
All right, whatever.
That's how I agree with whatever everything you're saying. And do I think that Sergio? Does anyone think that Sergio deserves on paper a seat in Formula One? No, but I don't think a couple other drivers, Lance Stroll, deserves a seat in Formula One either. It's just money talks.
I have heard that. I guess.
I don't do the talking, but I know people that do.
My another thought I have, this weekend might go down as the best possible, like most notable weekend for lap ones. So great, like we had a sprint race, early advantage. There's two lap ones rather than one lap one in a weekend. But on the sprint race, Sergio Perez got overtaken in the pit lane. That's like a scoregami for F1. I don't know if that's ever happened, getting overtaken in the pit lane. Safety car drivers behind, like that's behind the cars at the start. Sergio almost had to overtake him. The guy just didn't go. Like Christian Horner in the media being like, yeah, like when the lights go out, you're supposed to go. Like, is it epilepsy? Did he sneeze? Like, is he have another, a girl on his mind that's not his wife again? Like, think something didn't fit there. And I think this is the perfect, again, he doesn't deserve the seat in Abu Dhabi right now.
Yeah. Did anyone ask him? I saw Horner's response. I didn't see a situation or anything where it was like, what happened? Where he's just like, I didn't even know that I was looking to the right. It looked like that was the lights over to the right. Didn't realize this to my left. And so I was looking in the wrong direction. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Like he's like, I'm not used to going out in the pits. I've never gone out in the pits to start a racing Qatar. So I thought it was in a different direction. Maybe, that's fair.
I guess. Yeah. I like
You
the
know?
idea of like media and press being like, hey, like, are you gonna ask him or should I ask him? And
Yeah, yeah.
like, no, let's just leave this one off. Like, we saw what happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, all right, something else. The Max Verstappen and George Russell drama was something that like I think we don't get races like this where it's just like there's so much obvious hatred right now. And granted, it'll probably bubble over. It's toward the end of the season. But Max like saying like, yeah, I just like lost all respect for him as a
Mhm.
human being. Like I want nothing to do with that guy, basically. He's completely different behind the camera than he is in front of the camera. Which by the way, I think like I do get the like George Russell as a kid total tattletale. You know that he was like,
Oh,
yeah,
he wore. I mean, like when he said that, I was like, never really thought of it like that because he doesn't portray. But like when he said that, and you could tell the honesty and like the conviction when he said that, I was like, can see this so easily. He's the young kid in primary school, that is wearing like a sweater vest, the rich kid that comes and like kind of bullies the under like the little kid that just is like needs some positivity and he just bullies the shit out of him.
yeah.
Or I don't know if you're a big Leave It to Beaver fan. This is going to predate a lot of probably all of our listeners. Eddie Haskell, ever heard of him?
Nope, but okay, keep
No,
rolling.
Eddie Haskell was a kid that would go to every single parent and be like the parent's favorite. He'd be like, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Whoever," and then behind closed doors, he's the one that's like, "Let's shoot off these fireworks." And
Okay,
he's the trouble causer. I don't think he's the trouble causer, but he is like the little prick behind closed doors.
yeah,
And it's definitely these comments have completely. I'm fully backing Max on this, and I also want Max is like the one thing, love him, hate him. He's going to tell you how it is. He's going to tell you from his heart what he's feeling. I hope that he does not back down from those comments. And I was like, never again will I be friendly to him, no matter what. If we're in the cool down room and it's a 1-2, I'm stone. I'm like stone facing him. This isn't going to happen. I want that type of bitterness forever.
yeah. I want him to like lean in even more. Like
Mm-hmm.
once the off season happens and everybody's kind of forgotten about this race, like out of nowhere, when they're in the cool down room, they both get a podium. George Russell says like, "Hey, it was a great race, man." And then Verstappen's like, "Oh, great race, man."
Yeah, yeah. And also like thinking ahead, I hope this also continues because it also puts Mercedes, if they're going to keep trying to push for Max and try to get Max in 2026, kind of puts them in a little bit of an awkward situation. Because
Good point.
if Max wants to be super, super stubborn, he's like, I don't even want to go to Mercedes, but I want George to be in a shitty situation. So I'm going to tell Toto, saying, I will come to Mercedes. George has got to go. And Toto, of course, is going to go. See you, buddy.
Or even better, like he's just like, "Yeah, I'll race along, George." And he's just like he's won his like fifth or sixth
Mm-hmm.
championship, and he just is out there to torpedo George, just like
Oh,
purposely
dude,
going after him.
he's just defending him like crazy at any point. He's like, "We're gonna lose both of these races every single time. I'm coming after you for the rest of my life."
He's just second and George is first, and he just T-bones him on a turn. I love it.
At the
Um,
racing line.
yeah, my brakes didn't work. I T-boned.
I can't.
I got one more thing that I want to get off my chest. So with the addiction, Freudian slip there. With the addition of Jack Doohan, Franco Colapinto, Ollie Behrman, and Liam Lawson, there is a possibility, right? even with Jack Doohan, who's going to race his first race this upcoming weekend, that Logan Sargent finishes 24th in a season and a sport where there's 20 cars and 20 drivers racing in every race. Imagine from the viewpoint of Liberty Media, you buy a controlling interest in F1, set your sights on America, the biggest market opportunity in the world, right? And say like, okay, this is, let's get an American guy. There's one coming up in F2 right now, right? Let's put him in. We can have this, we can ride this momentum. And he finishes like -4 places from
Mhm.
this place.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you did the research. I'm sure you did. What's the last time that this has ever happened? Has it ever happened? Has someone come in 24th place out of 20?
I don't know. Out of like I mean, there used to be like more drivers, and so like obviously like that would have helped, but like in the 20
Like you're
driver,
capped out, right? Yeah, you're
right,
capped of your typical 20.
right, yeah, like since there have been 20 drivers, I don't think anybody's finished 24. I think if you were to tell somebody in like 2013 or something, like, hey, someone's gonna finish 24th, you'd be like, oh, they expanded two more teams? Like,
Nah.
not yet. No, not there's like there's
Yep.
still 10.
Get ready.
All right, there's my fastest thoughts. Now let's talk about our winners and losers.
All right. Winners and losers. My winner is going to start off. I think this is an easy one. Guan Yu Zhou getting the team off the goose egg for the entire year. I didn't think that, after race 18, 19, 20, 21, didn't seem like to me or anyone that Sauber was ever going to get close to putting up points. So the fact that he, of all drivers, short stint in Formula One, probably won't see him unless, obviously kind of a, hey, China's going to start throwing the bag at some teams to get him back. Might not see him again. And the fact that he can go out with a bang, no matter what happens in Abu Dhabi, was very cool to see him. I'm sure that like mentally that this has been probably like a very, very, very difficult process, especially in the past year. And yeah, just to see him, it seems like he's a pretty good guy. And so, yeah, I mean, awesome news to him. Not even just get 1, 2, or 2 points, 4 points. Fantastic.
Yeah. Again, like Liberty Media, right? They set their sights on America. The two biggest markets are probably like America and China, and having their both of those like American and Chinese drivers not doing so hot for Logan to get, it would be poetic for Logan to get like 24th, and then Guan Yu Zhou to have, by the way, 4 points, as many points as Sergio Perez has scored in the last four races.
Yeah, crazy. My other one is going to be Ferrari. Obviously, they were kind of in the hunt, weren't the fastest car, but some very, very overly harsh penalties against McLaren completely changes this around to make this somewhat of a possibility of actually being like attainable to a constructor's pretty long shot, I would say. But drivers' championship completely put Charles back in the game to get P2, only 9 points down now from Lando. So it seemed a bit of a head scratcher of that type of a stop and go penalty instead of just like a 10-second penalty in general. But as a Ferrari fan, I'll take it.
Yeah, it seemed harsh. I'm not a rule book expert, so I can't be like, that's like unreasonable. But it was just like he did like his infraction cost him probably like 6/10 of a second, or like gained him an advantage of like 6/10 of a second. Maybe that's probably like even generous. But to be like, yeah, 10 seconds and it's a stop go penalty and not even like deducted from the end, just like, okay, well. That's Abu Dhabi 2021 all over again. There's collusion. These guys don't want us to win.
They hate us.
They hate us.
Uh,
Me.
I think you kind of covered a lot of the other winners here. So those were the two that I don't think were mentioned that I wanted to kind of bring up. But was there anyone that I missed that you would like to cover?
No, I think you did basically everybody. The probably the only one that I would add on there is the Valtteri Bottas loser again. Getting 11th and almost getting a point,
Mm-hmm.
that sucks, like
Yeah, yeah.
he
When
was right
it
there.
when he was 10 and then Lando was just flying behind him, I was like, at least he knows that like, hey, I don't have a chance at this. Like it probably really like lowered his expectation knowing who was in his rear view mirror, fresh set of tires going like 2 seconds faster than him. So maybe he didn't get his hopes too high towards the end of the race when he saw that happening. But yeah, I mean, that's yeah. Hopefully we see him on the board. Probably not
Probably
in
not.
his last race. Yeah, my losers. We talked about George. I do want a microscope on him going forward, and I also want to see. You know what would be great, and I think as anyone in the FIA, anyone in Formula One listening to this, Liberty Media listening to this podcast, end of year anonymous box and have a couple questions about the drivers. Like who's the they always ask them who's the driver you'd like to go out with. Like who do you not like the most and why? And I want like some details, and they have to turn it in with at least 2 paragraphs answer per question and make it all anonymous. Wink, wink.
I think that would be
That'd
hilarious.
be awesome. And at the end of the year, it's like the NFL, like the NFL was like, oh, who's the best players in it? Like, and all the other sports actually do these like anonymous polls of who do they think the best, who's the most overrated, who do they not like the least, all this stuff. I think Formula One needs to do this. Probably a little harder to get away with like animosity or you know what
Anonymity.
I'm saying? Anonymity, that one. With 20 drivers, and I'm sure you can probably like kind of decipher who's saying what about what, but that's not our problem. I think this should happen.
Certain types of broken English give it away for
Yeah, exactly. Someone's writing in Chinese, you're like, got him. I know who that is. My only other loser is going to be Williams. It seemed Alpine was the sad team at the beginning, the first half of the year. The last 6 or so have become, I think, the Williams team. Franco came in hot, looking pretty good, but they continuously DNF. They continuously get in crashes. They were having to borrow these last couple races parts from Papa Mercedes' old Formula One cars just to get by because they didn't have them funds, they didn't have the parts, so they were just like Mercedes, give us old parts from your old cars, please, please, please. So I mean, they are just like limping to the finish line of the season.
Yeah, hand-me-downs and race car driving, I assume, are probably not what you're after.
Can you buff out all the rust before you hand it over to us, please?
I do imagine like some parts don't fit, so they have to like melt it a little bit,
All
just the metal. Anyway, yeah, I gave you my loser at the beginning there, so that's it.
right, cool. Hey, yeah, it does it for our winners and losers. Going to our race and gambling predictions recap. All right, let's start with the race predictions. I did get one. I got Lando fast slap. That's it.
Nice. I didn't get any, so doesn't matter.
So we are going into the final race of the season. 14 Ian, not lies. 14 Marco, 15 Ian. It's a 1 point advantage for Ian going into the final race of the season.
And let's talk about where else I have an advantage. Gambling 3-0. Like I promised, we turned the corner. It took a while, but here we are. I'm him. We got Russell top 6 finish. It was a minus 350, but counts as a win. Lando fastest lap plus 275, banger, and obviously there was going to be a safety car in Cotter. So yeah, up 3.7 units takes me in the black if the black is over negative 20 units.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Ending on a positive note, probably.
Yeah. I've lost less than 1 unit every race on average.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, and you were on the trajectory to be more than a unit. So this was a huge week for you. I think we're all proud of you.
Thanks, man.
I did all right. Not as good as Ian, of course. Joe over Bottas was kind of a surprise for quali. Ferrari quali winner did not work. And then Charles top 3. So I ended the day with 2.5, end of the weekend, 2.5 units positive to get me to 8.42 units on the year. So not like a little under half a unit a weekend. You're welcome.
Yeah. But you're also in the black because you're better than
Legitimately,
minus 20 units.
yes.
Yeah.
Like that's like super black. That's bolded and underlined
Right.
black.
Yeah, you're correct. Italics,
Of
black.
course.
All right, that does it for our racing gambling predictions. Marco, give us our Abu Dhabi Grand Prixview.
All right. Abu Dhabi Grand Preview. I'll be honest, forgot I was supposed to do this.
Okay,
So
all
we're
good.
going to learn together, folks. Okay. What does this track look like? I remember from last year and remember doing a little bit of research this week. It does look like an old gun, like one of those old guns that, like the pistols that have, two barrels in there. That's what
Yep,
I'm going to go with. This is the Yas Marina circuit. It has two DRS zones, 16 turns, one speed trap coming out of DRS zone two. And I believe, could be wrong, but I believe that this is another counterclockwise track.
sure.
So we're going to go with that one. 58 laps. The first Grand Prix was in 2009. Max has, I think, won the last four, including the very controversial one in 2021. So maybe the last three. I don't know. So the beginning of lap at turn one and the end of lap turn 16 are very slow speed corners with a tight straight in between. It makes a very great opportunity for overtaking. So it's very nice to see the beginning and end of the lap, great overtaking opportunities. Kind of a tricky run through turns 10, 11 into turn 12. This will force drivers to brake hard with a lot of lateral load on the car. So it's almost like a hard 90-degree right-hander. So be on the lookout for that. If I'm doing the math right, that is definitely going to be a counterclockwise. Yas Island, outside of the track itself, Yas Island, one of the biggest tourist destinations. I saw some people saying that it's like a New York of the Middle East. Seems a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to go with it. They have over $40 billion of investment over the past 10 years, 7 hotels, a Ferrari indoor theme park, one of at least 2, a mall, a water park, a golf course, a beach, a concert arena, and a nightclub. Hotels, if you're going to go, stay in the hotels near there, have a trackside view as well. So if you want to prepare, get a good spot for the race, literally being in your hotel room would be a very good bet. Or, like we said, on a yacht in the marina. It's not going to be like the was the Miami one where they had a fake boat and a fake marina. This is
Yep.
real.
Okay.
And the top things about the track, though, it's like I said, very great for overtaking. Another great spot is turns 5 and 6, and then the straight between 8 and 9. So we have like literally 3 good areas within the track to actually overtake. And then the last thing is it's going to be a night race. So that's fun. We like night races. Weather is going to be 82. Perfect.
All weekend. That's just
All
how
weekend.
you look at weather.
That's
It's
all we need.
82. Just like, what's the weather going to be like? 82.
82. Like what day? 8. I said 82. If you ask again, you're in trouble.
82
Um,
from now until February. That's what we got, brother.
yes. And so that does it for the Abu Dhabi Grand Preview. Glad we learned together, folks.
Let's get into our country fun facts about the United Arab Emirates, specifically Abu Dhabi. Let's go. So here's a backstory.
So facts.
It's Giving Tuesday today, right? We have Cyber Monday and then Giving Tuesday. It's when you donate to charity if you're a good person. I donated to the ASPCA from a link that a friend sent me because I like animals. And I was like, 25 bucks, let's give 25 bucks away. I didn't realize that 25 bucks is now a monthly payment that I signed up for on accident. And
Can you pay
now
bail?
I can, but they make you call in. So I have to say
Mm,
words, I want to stop my donation to the animal shelter. I told myself I was going to do it this morning, dialed the number, didn't hit call. I think I just have a subscription to the ASPCA now. And so I'm going to do all animal related facts for the UAE fun facts that I have. So I'm going to give you 3. We're going to do 2 truths and a lie like we always do. The first one, Falcon passports. The second one, camel Botox. And the third one, vengeful sand vipers. So number 1, Falcon passports. In the UAE, falcons are national symbols, and they are so highly valued that they have their own passports for travel. There's even a Falcon Hospital, which has one of the most advanced Falcon care centers in the world. Number two, camel Botox. Because the culture in the UAE is so obsessed with camels, they hold beauty pageants where camels are judged on the size of their lips, the curve of their neck, and the grace of their humps. Due to the millions in prize money that camels can bring in, Botox for camels was banned in competitions after some owners were caught cheating in a nationally covered scandal. And number two,
Steroids. It's a steroid scandal.
exactly, but for sexy camels. Number three is vengeful sand vipers. The desert sand viper is a venomous snake with a reputation for revenge. So folklore says in the UAE, if you kill one, its mate will track you down no matter where you are. And it makes a lot of locals wary of harming them, even if they encounter one.
I'm going to go with the last one.
That one is actually true.
Okay.
Sand vipers.
Then I'm going to go. I don't know why I thought the bird passport was true. I'm going to go with camel Botox.
Camel Botox is actually also true. Falcons do not have passports
Dang it.
in the UAE.
That's a good one.
Got you
You
on
got
that.
me. You got me.
Camel Botox, who would have thought?
Yeah. I got
It's
to
a
see some of
steroid
these sexy camels.
thing. Yeah,
Get a
dude.
load on this one, huh? All right. My two truths and a lie. Here we go. There is a traditional dish in Abu Dhabi that involves stuffing an entire camel with eggs, chicken, lamb, and rice and cooking it over a charcoal pit for them to eat out of the carcass.
Okay. I thought you just said stuffing an entire camel with eggs. I was like, oh,
I was like, oh, just keep it there.
that's like 700 eggs.
It's a ton of eggs. Yeah. All right. Saeed Abdul Ghaffur Kahuri set the world record by paying to have an entire zoo built in on his compound, costing him roughly $120 million. The zoo includes lions, bears, giraffes, gorillas, hippos, crocodiles, penguins, and marine life, including dolphins and certain types of sharks.
Okay.
Then the last one, the highest and lowest temps ever recorded in Abu Dhabi occurred within 1 year of each other. The hottest temp was in 2022 at 123.3 degrees Fahrenheit. And in 2021 was the coldest, which was negative 28.4 degrees.
I'm going to go with the weather one is the lie.
True.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I'm going to go with, I think the zoo one seems true. So I'm going to go with the camel spit roast being.
Dang, no, that was true as well.
We're bad at this today.
Yeah. The difference with Saeed Abdul Ghaffur Kahuri is he spent, I think, $20 million on a license plate. He wanted the license plate just one. So he spent 20 million bucks on that.
What?
I don't know, dude. Hey, once you got that type of money, you're like, dude, I want to be one.
I like the idea of being like, this thing, I want to pay $10 million for it.
Yeah, they're like, so this? The thing that's like it's 15 cents basically to get one of these. It's like, no, I want the coolest one.
Yeah. I want it to be solid gold and diamond crusted.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff. We both got each other with the country fun facts. Let's move on to our final sector for the last race of the season, our predictions and gambling. All right, let's start off with the predictions on my side. Who doesn't finish the race? I'm going to go with a Max Verstappen, just giving up basically halfway through, just calling it a little bit of a thanks but no thanks. I'll just go home and enjoy this. Driver of the day, give me a Yuki Tsunoda, vying for that Red Bull seat. Douche of the day, give me Checo Perez. Seems like he's not fragile enough to be in a race car right now. I feel like he's going to do some fuck shit. Wild card prediction. I want to see a new winner in this race. I've used this before, but a new driver to win the race that we haven't seen win this season. Fastest lap, give me George Russell. And then how many cars don't finish the race? I'm going to say we keep this race clean and 0 cars DNF this race.
Okay. I'm going to have to change one. But outside of that, I have who doesn't finish Valtteri Bottas, nothing to live for. So he's gonna just go out with a bang. Driver of the day. I think there's a lot of stories going in the last race of the season. Hopefully, the announcers really like milk Lewis in his last race with Mercedes, get the people, their heartstrings going, and then they vote him, being like, hey, last race with Mercedes, historic career, driver of the day. Douche of the day was going to be Sergio Perez. I'm going to have to change that to a Lance Stroll because it's Lance Stroll. Wildcard predictions, I'm going to say Charles ends up P2 in the Drivers' Championship.
Okay, 9-point difference. I'll give you that.
Fastest lap, I'm going to go with Sergio Perez. I think it's just going to be one of those. It could be like a Danny thing where he's in 18th and they're like, go for it, buddy. Put the softs on. Let's try to get it. And he's still not going to get it, probably.
He wrecks the wall.
Dude, he's going to be like, this is the best lap of the day for him. They're like, and it was a second and a half behind the leader. I'm going to go, how many cars don't finish it? I'm going to go with 3 don't finish on this one.
Love it. And then since we are red hot, I'm red hot gambling. Give me a Russell podium, 1 unit at even money, plus 100. Lando Norris to win this race, 1 unit at plus 250. And then Ferrari, a double top 6 finish. I'm going to put 2 units on this one. Little emotional hedge, just in case something horrible happens and McLaren loses this. And that is at minus 275.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go. So I think this is just different books here, but Russell, I got 125. So if you want to move yours up.
Yep. Yes, I do.
We got to get as much as we can. George, top 3, top plus 125, half a unit for me. Safety car, yes, there is going to be a safety car at plus 116 this race, half a unit there. I'm going to go with K-Mag, final race here, over Hulkenberg, plus 110, half a unit there.
Love it. All right, everybody. This was a long one. It's our last twofer, our last preview of the season before we have Lewis Hamilton wearing the Scarlet Red of Ferrari. So appreciate everybody for listening. We will see you on the other side of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
The assholes.
The assholes. There it is. Waiting for.
Kind of forgot.
Hey, thought you could leave without saying goodbye.
I used to say I lived my life a quarter mile at a time. And I think that's why we were brothers. Because you did too.